Welcome to episode 10 of The View with Vertex. We are now back in Manchester, but this show has also got a bit of an international feel to it. Today, I'm joined by Francesca Fuser. She is the Business Development Manager for Pilosio. I'm also joined by Mark Parkin of Richter. Again.
Thank you,
Second week.
Yeah, second week on the bounce.
I know, yeah.
Mark's basically taking over.
One day.
He'll be sat in this chair next week. And we are planning a feature-length episode.
We are going to get that done. Yeah.
But yeah.
Very happy to see both of you because I know you were at Vilnius and very jealous next time we come.
Oh, you've got to
Honestly,
go.
Yeah,
next
you've
time I
got
want
to
to
come.
come.
It was incredible, wasn't it?
And I would like also to see Italian team.
I would.
Because it
yeah.
was not there. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will push.
Yeah, I think it's just naturally going to happen.
It's just naturally going to grow. I mean, to have 15 teams and then they're talking about 20, 25 plus teams next year. The event was electrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Just being in that venue.
Yeah. And if you look around social media now, all you can see is Scaff Jam, videos, pictures, people sharing experiences.
I was also watching the streaming,
Yeah.
honestly, on my TV at home.
And it was so lovely to meet all these different people from around the world. I mean, we had the team from Mongolia.
Oh, yeah.
And they were incredible.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, they were one thing, really professional, really good.
Yeah.
The CEO is one of the coolest guys I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He did the full podcast with sunglasses on.
Oh, really?
He does, yeah. He was
Oh.
he was like a rock. He was like we had
Rock star.
Bono or someone on the
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it was great. And the city of Vilnius is
Yeah, I saw some
outstanding.
picture.
Yeah,
Nice place.
outstanding.
Not at all what I expected.
Congratulations to
No.
Oleg and Victor.
Yeah.
They create something magic.
Oh, they have, yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
so you go back 10, 15 years when Victor was talking to me about that, and right at the start of his career when he was joining Leia, and he wanted to create these Scaff Champs, and he said, well, what if only people from Vilnius come?
Mm.
So what?
Yeah, I agree.
I said, year 2, everybody come.
Yeah. And then year 3.
And then year 3, just like boom.
Yeah. You can really
And
see
it's
that
just
this
really
is like
coming now.
this is like it's not Genesis because obviously it's already begun, but I think this is the moment where it's going to get that crossover appeal where people are going to, start taking it. I don't want to say taking it serious.
I don't want it to be a serious thing.
Mm.
I think you've got to look at it from being a competition like it is. It can't be done on SG4, but you've got to take elements of everything and come up with a system that's usable for everybody. But it's about bringing everybody together.
Yeah. I've not said this before, but I'll probably use the opportunity to do it. We had a lot of, most of you get negativity and hate and all the rest of it. Most of it seems to be coming from the UK and people saying, oh, so-called professionals watching this and it's like a circus and all the rest of it. Well, look at one of the main sponsors, or not sponsors, we can't call them sponsors, but Red Bull were there.
Yeah.
And what kind of events did Red Bull put on themselves?
Yeah.
Extreme flying, the X Games and things like that. These are things that they get involved with.
Soapbox racing.
Yeah. So it's safe for someone to hurtle down a mountain on a soapbox or to go over a vert ramp
I tell you what,
on a skateboard.
That would be great if we could find that hill in Vilnius with the castle on, soapbox race down that with all the team.
Yeah. Well, maybe on a skateboard. There's Joe from Leia. I don't know if you've met Joe Thompson. But he's
skateboard.
He does a bit of skateboarding in his spare time. He's only 50 odd.
Yeah.
And he's a keen skateboarder.
Oh, we'll get him in.
But it's great. One of all the extreme events and absolutely nothing like what I expected, but somehow managed to still exceed all of any expectation I could have possibly had.
Totally. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Waiting for next edition.
Yeah.
But I am taking over because, of course, we are here to discuss mainly yourself, Francesca, and your role with Pilosio. But before we do that, I'd probably take it back to your beginning, perhaps just before you started in construction. Tell me a little bit about what you did. I don't know if it was a hobby or a job, but...
You're talking about the music, the music passion.
Yeah.
Okay, I was studying university economy, and I was also working, and I was working for a television, for Match Music Television. That is the call of the television channels. It was about music interview, and so I used to make some international interviews, some DJ. after that, I decided to open my personal YouTube channels. We got a lot of view. It was, I think, even the perfect time. You know, when you are in the perfect time, the perfect place.
Yeah.
That it
Goldilocks zone, I called it.
Yes.
So, you know, I open my YouTube channels and I start to make by my own some interviews. So I'm quite confident about radio. I'm very confident about... I prefer to be you than to be me. Honestly. So I prefer to make...
Please take over.
Yeah.
I prefer to be you than to be... But anyway, you know, it was a very nice experience because I learned so much about social, about communication, about...
I think you were ahead of your time as well because, you know, we're talking 15 years ago, you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
To be doing YouTubing and like...
Exactly, yeah.
You know, I'm going to have to share this on LinkedIn actually, or somewhere. I've not done yet. But my daughter, my 9-year-old, she'll be 9 next month. Her reaction to me being invited as a media guest to Scaff Champ, she cried.
Really? She was emotional.
Yeah, because now, like, being a YouTuber, which feels ridiculous to even call yourself that, that's kind of where that's what I am.
Because it is.
You should be on TikTok.
Yeah, well, I think, oh God, if I went on TikTok, she'd have a meltdown. She'd go crazy if I went onto TikTok as well. But
you were media partner, right?
Pardon?
You were media partner.
Yes, media partner. Wow. Yeah. So after
but I did the same.
After
like
9, not even 9 episodes.
But Isa, I did the same like you. When I started with my own blog, my YouTube channels, after some months, I got a request from Ultra Festival, you know, very massive American, to go to Croatia. So really, I was very excited. I think also starting from nothing, you know, and then growing, it's always good.
It was funny because when Francesca first met me, she was like, I know you.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I know you. You don't know me. Yeah, I do, I know you.
You look familiar.
You look familiar.
But are you sure you're British?
Yeah, and it happened to me. First time it ever happened to me. Walked into a restaurant in Leeds, in Italian, and he just stood there with a blank face, and he was like looking me up and down, and he went, Gianluca? And I was like,
so if it's going to get me a table, then
you know,
it's my table.
And it was like, and me and Sarah
were looking at free drinks.
And it turned out it was Gianluca Vacchi.
Yeah, it's an international Italian DJ.
And we went and sat down, and
he's a billionaire, honestly.
Yeah, billionaire, and the whole team from who was waiting on and stuff. All girls were like looking over. Can we have a photo? And I was like, what? And then, so when Francesca met me as well, first thing she said, I know you.
Yeah.
It's strange when that happens, isn't it?
Really.
But I was saying this, like, I don't know whether, like, Mark has just got, I don't know if it's that star quality or that just feels familiar as soon as you meet him. But I did say to this to you before, didn't I, that you've reminded me of my dad.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
In a way, yeah. And it's not, I don't know if it's, the glasses are a part of it. There was a bit of a silver tinge before, you know, towards the end of the day, it went a bit, the silver fox, shall we say. And I think it's the charm. Yeah. I think it's definitely charm. Similar thing happened to me, though, not because of charm at all. But a similar thing happened to me in an airport in Bali years ago.
Yeah.
And I've still no idea why. So me and the missus were walking through the airport. We just gone from Gili, Trawangan to Lombok, and everyone in Lombok is like, I think it's quite a conservative place. Right. And it was boiling, so I walked typical Brit abroad with my shirt off.
Yeah. Bulldog on shirt.
Well, not, you know, you get the idea. And I'm walking into the airport, and these group of lads like looking at me, and everyone has been like all the way in because of the way I'm looking, all the rest of it. But then these two walk over to me and went like words to the effect of "Is you?" So I was like, "Yeah,
it's me."
So they went,
"That's me."
Photo. So I was like, "Yeah, cool." So stands there, and I was like, they make me missus take it. So at first she's thinking, "Oh, we're all going to be the photo." Then she has to take it, and then so I'm like stood there with these two dudes, and then they're like, "Oh, was it?" They went and showed me he'd said it as his screensaver on his phone, the picture of me and these two random people. And I'm like, so Sarah's like, "Who is he?" and they're like, no, who do you think he is? And then they just started doing these sort of set of actions of like really? It looked like something to do with cricket. But we still don't know. No idea. Yeah, brilliant. I guess you've got one of those. I think I've got maybe one of those. Those faces. Well, usually gets me into trouble. Yeah. Usually gets.
I can get into trouble.
I'm sure. We managed to stay out of it in Vilnius.
Exactly.
We should say
I was
that.
just happy with arm wrestling. I didn't want any further than that.
Yeah, a bit of arm wrestling, and good time had by all. Still feeling the after effects. So.
Oh yeah.
We ended up in a nightclub at one point. I was just stood there. Like, yeah.
Oh, I never made a nightclub.
Yeah, and it was me, Ross. Addy was there actually.
Oh, was he?
Probably got him in trouble on camera now, but he was.
Oh well. Yeah. He's so naughty.
I felt like a fish out of water.
Yeah.
I felt like, what am I doing here?
So it was like a bit of a nightclub in Passion Mama.
Yeah, there was a DJ in the back. Nice. Cool set. I know we've said it before, but it's a sort of fantastic place. Yeah. So, I mean, that role is a radio DJ.
Yeah.
Was
a DJ.
A VJ, sorry, and blogger, vlogger.
Quite a long time ago.
I guess that sets you up really well for a role as a business development manager. Same as yourself. It's just talking to people, and I guess as an interview, you're asking great questions, and great questions. And if you can answer those questions well,
exactly,
you can do great business with people.
Yeah.
How have you found it as a female in the construction industry?
Well, it's okay. I'm working in the construction industry since 10 years, and 1 year and a half with scaffolding. Talking about women in construction, I can say it's a male domination sector, but I don't feel bad, honestly, because I feel people listening more, and I think it's question of education, most probably. And I also saw some guy treated badly for their feminine personality. So we are growing up in a world, I think, where important lessons were taught at school, like geography, algebra, mathematics. But I think we have to enlighten ourselves to accept the others. That is important lesson in life. And so I can say more and more construction is changing because, for example, Pilosio is producing lighting material that allow even women to work in the field. And then the construction industry is planning jobs, not just doing the jobs. And to planning the job is some attitude that is more.
Yeah, so
I think so. As I said before, we had Vicky Welsh on a few weeks ago, and what she clearly brings to her team offshore. Totally. And you're the only person who's prepared their own show notes. So I mean, we need people like that, whether they're male or female. But we need people with those organisational skills as well as the brute and brawn to actually put the scaffolding up.
Even if you think construction industry is very far from a digitalization, and even in Italy. Now, I don't know in British, but most probably it's quite the same. For example, when our scaffolder go on site, they used to go with papers. They don't go with an app. So for example, digitalization also is something that are more related to women. And so I can say in the future, the presence of women could really help the industry to growing. And even 10 days ago, it was mental week.
Yes, mental health awareness week.
I read an article who said when there is women in jobs, even the men feel more free to talk. More relaxed. And so there is less problems related to even to the mental, we are born to be mother, I think, like women. And so probably even the men colleague can understand it and they feel more. I can also say, the company where I work, I have some phone call from other colleague, men colleague, how are you? And the feeling, the approach is different.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we've got
and I think we should celebrate that as well. Do you know what I mean?
Totally, yeah.
Rather than, I think I see this massive push towards equality in all industries.
In all industries,
you know.
yeah.
And I think
yeah.
it's right that we
at all levels.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people speak about this. There's a lot of studies been done on it, but we should strive for equality of opportunity and not opportunity, equality of outcome.
Equality,
No, exactly, of the outcome. Yeah.
So we want to include everybody and try and get everybody in, but that shouldn't make all outcomes equal.
No.
And we should celebrate the differences. You know, like you say, you bringing women into the team, maybe they've got more of that nurturing, mothering kind of aspect.
At Richter, we have a great team of engineers that are female, and they're we just see it as Richter one Richter, and we are just an equal team from top to bottom. And
equality, diversity, inclusion.
There's no divide. It's just we're in done. That's the Richter of 48.3, and everybody helps everybody.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be. You know, encourage anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
You turn up at the door, and nobody's going to judge you.
Yeah,
and we support everybody no matter where they're from.
And like you said about planning and stuff. I mean, for me as well. Just at the moment, I'm going through a bit of a turbulent thing with family at home because my mother passed away.
Yes,
and so Sarah's taking care of loads of things for me. And it was apparent when we were having a coffee just recently, an hour ago, and Francesca just said, I'm just going to deal with Sarah.
Oh, yes, right. Really.
Just going to deal with Sarah. I'll just ring Sarah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, she did well for us in Lithuania.
Absolutely.
We are calendar. We remember everything. We remember all the date. We remember, I don't know.
Sarah booked the restaurant for us, so we're all gallivanting around Lithuania, having a great time and whatnot. And then Sarah, Mark's, she's back at home organising the restaurant that we're
restaurants we were going to.
Really?
Yeah, reviewing.
Task force, because they're really task force.
She reviewed, she sent them through, and we went.
I came in. I didn't notice. Wow, great. So totally, completely.
We won't tell her.
Well, that's the only thing that is... anyway. So, back to Pilosio. The management has changed a little in the last few years.
Yeah.
How so?
1 year and a half, mostly, Yeah, you know, Pilosio is an in-house manufacturing company of formwork and scaffolding since 1961. Pilosio is located northeast side of Italy, the countryside of Udine.
The hard-working part of Italy, we should say.
It's
gorgeous place.
It's 45,000 square meters. Yeah.
Wow.
And Pilosio was already an international player with presence in Canada, South Africa, Arabia, Australia. So this is the fourth management, and the CEO is Mr. Parisotto, that is the owner of the company. And the reason why I decided to join Pilosio is just because of him. Because he started like a welder, he became a scaffolder, and he built his first company that is called Edile, and is the leader company in Italy that provides service and rental material in the scaffolding industry. So what I can say, my father, my brother, my uncle, they work in the construction industry, and we are Italian. We used to talk, especially Sunday lunch. We used to stay together. And when they were talking about car politics, when they were talking about scaffolding, they were always referring to him like an authority. So he started from nothing, and he's a very innovative person. He was the one to import a layer. He was the first one to import a layer in Italy 20 years ago. So he was also the first one to implement an engineering department in the company 30 years ago. Nowadays it seems standard, but some years
back
ago,
then it was an innovation.
You must be really, So he's a scaffolder, he's a scaffolder, he knows the system. And that's why I decided to candidate, because I know his vision. And when I saw they were looking for people, I decided to candidate myself. I was not looking for a job. I already had a job. And I was looking for an opportunity. And so now I'm very happy to represent UK market.
So you feel like this is like it's something that you can help somebody achieve their vision.
Exactly.
It is so innovative.
I've seen the videos and stuff.
Yeah, and because he's got a scaffolding brain, he's in a position now that he's bought a manufacturing arm that his head's running wild. He's dreaming, he's innovating in his sleep.
Yeah.
He wakes up and I went over to Italy and you're chatting with him, and next thing he's got, we could do this, and we're on to something.
It's very active.
So
very strong personality.
And that's far out of him being a scaffolder as opposed to being just like an engineer.
Well, I think we don't always get the credit we perhaps deserve as scaffolders, but we are engineers.
We are, of course,
because we do. I mean, and less so now, because now there's a much more emphasis. There's much more importance placed on designing out risks at the planning phase with CDM and other regulations. It's very much a focus of knowing that what you are going to do 100% works and it's not going to fall apart before we put boots on the ground. But, invariably, all the time, scaffolders get drawings, they get, designs and plans made, and they're innovating.
So many documents.
And they innovate on the job, though, and probably more so in the past, but we are problem solvers. That is what scaffolders do.
I used to work on a lot of chemical sites in Teesside and the likes. And, their engineers would come out and they'd say, right, we need to be up at that pipe. And you'll go, right, okay.
That's very common back in the day.
And so we were like, right, okay. And we'd have to start over here to get over there. And we would work that out.
But those were the best jobs, weren't they?
Yeah.
There was no better instruction. It's great to have all the information and design drawings, this, that, and the other.
You can create all the catalog. At the end,
but it's better.
The experience.
Our favourite instruction is, I need to be there.
Yeah.
And I need to be there.
I need to be there, and I can't go there. I can't go over there. I can't go there. And you start over there, and you get to there.
So we are engineers, and I think probably as if what's the MD? What's his name again? Because
Mr. Parisotto.
Mr. Parisotto.
Yeah.
I guess if he's from that background,
he's
an engineer at heart. So when he sees innovation and solutions,
totally. I mean, that's how such a clause was born by using products that are on the market that you then thought, well, it needs something else.
That's why
to speed things up.
But that's why I also decided to take a Pilosio. He took a Pilosio 1 year and a half ago, and he's a 63 man. He made a long story, hard worker, but he had something to do. He wanted to transfer all his experience on the products. That's why our value proposition at the moment of Pilosio is the direct experience now Pilosio have because of him. Him and all his team.
So he's driving the vision.
Well, that vision is
the vision and the experience on site. The business
not
model
only on site,
we
even this the experience in the manufacturing.
Exactly.
Even this, I mean, we could talk about fly deck, and I think that's definitely the next sort of
the
subjects.
Products.
But what are these? So what could you talk us through?
Yeah, okay. Before to talk about this, I would like to explain one second about fly deck. That we make. Fly deck is our innovative suspending system for construction and maintenance jobs. And fly deck can have several applications. At the moment, we are promoting on bridge, viaduct, rail, but can be applied for commercial, for civil, whatever. For what I know, 1 year and a half that I'm working the scaffolding system, 80% of the cost is about assembly, disassembly, and transport costs. So fly deck is a very easy product. It's a modular system of 3 elements: the beams, the certified chain, and the panels. So the beams can be up to 6 meters, 25 centimeter. Now it's long to up to 6 meters and high 25 centimeter.
Which, when you compare that to the depth of a typical scaffolding beam, and even some of the other suspended platforms on the market, that's quite.
It's a shallow,
exactly.
Which
so is great for Yeah, great for transport. You know,
storage,
you're getting more material for you.
And it's light.
Storage. And then
I guess that's better as well. Sorry to interrupt, but for offshore, because I think one of the main challenges of modular scaffolding offshore is the space.
Yeah.
You know, it's very difficult to store on a small offshore oil installation, whereas the smaller the product, the easier that is.
Yeah.
And then the beam have double profile. So round profile and square profile for German panels, for example. So it's compatible.
When you say panels, do you mean the decks?
The decks, exactly, the decks. So if you have the decks, you don't even have to take our decks, you know. So talking about the cost of the material is very easy. It's very few elements.
So it's flexible. It's usable for many different products.
Yeah.
So it's not set for one thing. So you can have, if people have got her decks, great. If people have got U decks, great. Doesn't matter.
And that's what you need, really, isn't it? You need to be versatile and flexible.
Yeah.
And then the secret of the system is about the time of assembly, disassembly. Mark already saw, and later we'll let Mark to explain his experience he made at Arezzo on the site. But what makes this system really innovative is about the assembly and disassembly. The system uses a fly rail that is a special guide. The operator, this fly rail is always anchored to the soffit. So what's happened? The operator hook the beam to the sliding carriage of the fly rail and push it cantilevered.
Yeah, so push it out into free space.
Put it at 3 meters.
Exactly. Then using a hoist, he positions the beam to the previous one.
So he drops that down to the right height.
So it's on a slight bit of angle.
Okay. Exactly. And then he connects the beams using this. And now I want to arrive to this.
So what I'll say though, just before you get there, is one man or woman, especially woman, because there's a thing about heavy products and everything. Forget all that. This is a one-hand operation. Everything's suspended in the fly rail. Connects in. You can push it out with one hand. So connect it and then pop these in.
One shot and that's it.
Yeah.
I believe it's Italian turn of phrase.
I don't know how to say.
You just tap these in, and these your connections connect both beams together.
It's those small margins as well that really make the difference.
Small margins.
If you consider everything, it's not a small margin. You know, there are so many elements.
It's
but
small margin, but it's big gains.
Yeah. What I have to say is as well, I mean, the boxes that we have to tick these days are, you know, yes, we have to make sure that something, product is user friendly and it's ergonomic and it's easy for people to use and efficient. But then you've got the sustainability of the product as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can say our R&D department, before developing a new product or before improving an existing product, they always have to focus on 3 points. One is customization, so to make the product more tailor-made to the customer. Okay. The second focus is about compatibility. Where is possible, we try to make product compatible with other one. And the last one that is most important is to focus on ergonomic feature. That means easy to use, comfort, wellness on site, at the same time, even productivity.
Yeah.
Because you're ticking all the boxes there, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, totally.
You're focusing on the customer because the customer gets the efficiency. Yeah. You're also focusing on the scaffolder because the scaffolder gets the benefit of being able to work with something that's comfortable. The big one, really, the environment you'd have to consider.
And then it's aluminium. I can make a list about...
When I was there, when I was watching the guys,
exactly.
There was just two guys just working at normal speed. You know, they're not like in Lithuania trying to bust a good to
win the world record.
Yeah, exactly. They're working so efficient, and they were just clipping beams in, putting pans in, erected, and I think they did about 24 square meters in under 20 minutes.
That's phenomenal.
But it was just so simple.
Yeah, really easily.
Yeah. So they were able to work in different areas, and they were just everywhere was just like you were looking round, and it was like They just done that. Jesus Christ, you were just turning around and something else was done.
So can you share any like real life success stories of where it's been applied and, you know, how it's benefited the end user?
Yeah, well, there's nothing in the UK, but the bridge that you were on when we went to in Arezzo was, I mean, incredible.
Yeah.
And we went to the underdeck of that, and like I say, they were in mid-phase of completing the whole underdeck, but the speed they were putting it in was was frightening.
Yeah.
So bridges seem like it's a pretty a useful application for the products.
Yeah.
Maintenance, construction, not just bridge or
viaduct. Underdecks in oil rigs.
For example,
atriums.
we are also making offer for museum. We are making offer for halls, so the hotel where they don't need to have scaffolding on the ground. They want to open at high height. How can I say?
High.
Okay.
Yeah. Any open space.
Yeah.
Any open space.
Open space.
It should. What I've seen of it is, you know, underdecks and the underbridges and stuff like that. But as you've just seen, you know, it seems like the applications for it. It's just it's up to your imagination, I guess.
Take it where you want to go.
Mm.
You know,
it's very fast.
Open your mind and it'll go anywhere.
It's very fast, even because with the fly rail you can bypass the obstacle.
Yeah.
Like a tower or a pier.
Exactly.
You just move it to a different direction.
For example, in a
different
bridge.
direction.
Exactly. Just changing the fly rail direction and you keep going, so you don't have to stop to create another area. It's very fast also for this reason. And it doesn't require by bridge, so no traffic block.
No.
So there are so many advantages.
I can think of one application where I'm working at the minute. I can't obviously divulge too much, but there's a certain bridge in Yorkshire that I'm involved with at the minute where it'd be a great application for. I won't say too much though.
So you can talk to me off record and we'll have a look at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anytime when, for example, I went to the bridge conference.
That's what my next question. You've done this before. You said you'd rather be sat in this seat.
Really?
I was just about to ask.
No, you know why? Because honestly, I got this opportunity in January because last year I traveled a lot. I did 4 trade shows, one in Italy, one in Munich, Bauma, and then one in Saudi, one in Dubai, where now we have an office, one in Jeddah and one in Dubai. So after 1 year, checking digital numbers, we saw there were a lot of people, a lot of interest coming from UK. That's why Mr. Parisotto gave me this opportunity and I accepted. But I accepted without zero contact. You know, it was just digital numbers. Was no portfolio, nothing.
Yeah.
And if everything changed when I went to the bridge conference in Coventry last March, because I got not digital number but real connection. Yeah. And when I was there, and I was saying, with the fly deck, you can easily assemble 200 square meters for a day. I said, this is marketing. No, I said, really? But people, you know, is very skeptical because they are not habituated to this performance. So I making a video one day, I posted on LinkedIn, I posted a video. It was a time-lapse video. And you will see 3 people, one team of 3 scaffolder. They make more than 20 square meters in half an hour. That's pretty impressive. With the material on site, okay. Yeah. But if you check the video, they are not running.
Yeah. They're working, just working.
Working, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the future for, you know, for that type of work.
Yeah,
you know
for suspended system, I think it's very innovative product.
Lastly, just before, because I know we're running short on time, I'm going to quickly ask how much we got. But I wanted to just quickly touch on the training sort of aspect of it as well, because we were talking, weren't we, off air about the differences and the different types of training. Suspended platforms are almost in a category of all of their own. Yeah. But we were drawing sort of a parallel between this and e-sits.
E-sits is the new one, because the event industry is sort of, in my eyes, fallen under the radar. So a lot of it's built off scaffolding. Yeah. Yeah. It's work at height.
And they're not scaffolders.
Half-day course. Yeah. Lets them be a scaffolder.
And we said, didn't we, it's like, okay, you're working at height, but how have you got there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Working at height is working at height. You've got to get to that height.
Yeah, and you have to prepare as well. You have to,
exactly. So
CDM regs certainly applies because they're temporary structures.
Totally.
And above and beyond that, the main one is a health and safety at work act.
Yeah.
If you're planning an event, a festival, or whatever it is, you need to ensure the health, safety, and welfare.
But what's great is, born out of all of this, we have now an ESITS training course that's been developed. I think Simeon are doing it and bringing it together, which I think is fantastic. And it can only grow. It's got to start somewhere. It's very late to market.
But I think others will naturally follow. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's a great example of where the suspended deck sort of, would you call it, space would end up. Whether that would be an addendum to another existing training scheme like scissors or something like facet or
I would like, on a personal note, I would like to see something like the suspended deck be managed in such a way. You've got to have some kind of scaffolding experience. I don't think your general labourer should be then given the opportunity to start scaffolding under decks. And
possibly something similar to what we have. There's something called an SSPTS. I think we spoke about it briefly, in our chats off air. It's like it's an add-on course to your scaffolding qualification. That'd be great if you could just add on. Maybe a 2-day or a week's course and building the system.
Well, we used to have. I mean, I did suspended cradles when I first trained at Bircham Newton, but I never went into the.
Yeah, they kind of moved some things out of it, didn't they? Like
they took it away.
Flying shore, the same.
And I was wanting to sort of think about that, but they were in different markets, to what I was when I was at GKN. So
conversations like this, hopefully, can start moving these things forward. People hear them, and,
exactly. But
it only takes that idea to spark.
I would love to see it move on, and I would love to see. So I would think from a part 2 to advanced, being able to do just a 2-day product familiarisation, and they'll understand it really quick.
Yeah, but whereas someone from no experience in the industry,
I think they're weeks of training, weeks of experience, weeks of training.
Oh, absolutely.
To get to advanced level, you want to be 5 years plus. We've shortened it to 3, but you haven't got the experience in 3.
No. No. And you're right. But just because the system is great, and the system is great. I've looked at that system, and I really do think it's got a great future in front of it. But we have to put it in the hands of the right people, like the MD. People with knowledge and experience.
Exactly.
And I guess that's why it's moving forward now at such a great pace, because it's in the hands of scaffolders, right?
Yeah, and Pilosio are putting a system into Aberdeen.
Yeah, it's a demo system.
To showcase it, and we're going to provide some training into that. So there'll be some guy set up to do that and deliver it, and then. And
when will this be? Because I've got the studio engineer had his burning holes into the back of me with his eyes, so I know we're about to wrap things up.
I know, he's so
soon.
naughty.
When
he is really naughty.
All those nightclubs in Vilnius.
I know, yeah. His eyes are shutting.
When can people see this demonstration in Aberdeen?
Yeah.
When is this?
I think in 1 month. In 1 month we'll be ready. Now we are.
I would like to think you'd get it sorted, and it'll be somewhere beginning of July, 1st of July.
It's a demo. It's a demo show that will show fly deck, and then there will be also the ring lock system. We also produce ring lock system. You will see you will see the fly deck with the fly rail. There will be a demo show, a training, and the demo is like a demo. So the fly rail is now 5 meters, will be 4 meters, and the beams we are using are 4 meters instead of 6.
So an example.
But it's an example, but you get a feel for what it is.
People can touch with your hands. This is important for
feel
us.
it, touch it. That's why when I was bought in, I couldn't do it off videos. I like
you've got to feel it. Yeah, you've got to be in amongst it. So will it be expecting an invite, obviously?
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Either way you want to come, please. It will be our pleasure. We also invite Mark for Richter to come.
Well, what we could do is we would speak to Nero, we could make that happen, and we could do a feature with Nero in, and you could translate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for attending. Thank you for bearing with us while we got some of the bugs out of the system. We have just set back up in Manchester from our globe trotting around the world. But hopefully some more stuff from you guys in the future. Keep us abreast of it in social media.
Will do.
I'm a social media people, so
I'm sure you won't keep us waiting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you for that,
Thank you, really. Thank you, Isa. Thank you, Isa.
Thank you very much.
You're very talented.
Take care.
You.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I've had that one before.